Hey everyone, my name is Ashley Brooke Sero. I want to thank you for coming out today and, hanging out with all of us here at the Virtual Doll Convention. I'm super excited to be presenting my collection to you. I am a YouTuber and a blogger. I've been sharing my doll collection online for I think over 10 years now, and I just love it. I think sharing what you collect, sharing what your passion is, it's just so inspiring. You never know who you'll touch when you put something out there. And I've been doing that with dolls, like I said, for 10 years on YouTube under my name, Keepy83, and on my blog, Confessions of a Doll Collector's Daughter. So today I am here with you all to basically give you a collection tour. I think everyone really likes seeing what other people have in their collections, so that is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be showing some of my favorite items in my collection. I'm going to be kind of explaining why I like them, where I got them, the brief histories I know about them, and we're just going to celebrate dolls, because that's fun, right? My main collection focus, I used to have a collection focus, now I feel like mine has branched out, so there's a lot of different collections in it, but originally my collection focus was skipper dolls. Growing up, I had received a lot of the 90s pink box sort of skippers as a kid. My mom's a collector, so of course presents for birthdays and Christmases would be Barbies. So I received a lot of the 90s skippers, and as a teenager, when I was like, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to collect dolls? Do I want to do this? I was like, I can't really collect Barbie because you can never complete that collection. There's thousands of Barbies and it would be impossible. And I like having a collection that I could say, oh, I ticked this one off. I'm one step closer to having a full collection. I'm never going to have a full skipper collection, but I feel like it's easier to manage than if I were to have just decided on Barbie. So I decided to collect skipper. It also wasn't something people were collecting a lot specifically that I knew of back in the day. So I thought it was kind of unique just to collect Barbie's little sister. So we're going to start with this little trio of brunettes. We have Test Market Skipper, the normal skipper you would have seen in 1964, and then we have a Japanese skipper. I love my Japanese skipper. She was one of the first major purchases that I put into my collection. You'll notice that her eyes are very different from the skippers that you see here on the table. So this is a normal issue that we had here in the States, and this issue you'll see has the black side glancing eyes. She was sold in Japan from 1964 to 1966. So there were a couple years where you could find her, and they were both sold on the Japanese market. I think the Japanese skipper though is so unique looking and just super, super pretty. I'm very happy to have her in my collection. I'd like to get the other three hair colors, but I have not yet. One day. So this is just your basic brunette skipper. I really love this. She's a really, really good example of a skipper. She has her tag there. She has this really, really pretty dark brunette hair. It's darker than the hair that's on these two. There are different hair colors for skippers. It's not just the three you hear. There's different variations of browns and blondes and things. So this one has a really cool chocolatey brown hair. But she's just very, very pretty, and she's a great example of a skipper. And then this one is a Test Market skipper. She's a Test Market head on a regular skipper body. So what do I mean there? So her head is a really early skipper head, and you can kind of see a difference if you compare the head and the face paint of this girl and this girl. This is a little different. There's just a little difference to her. So if you're ever shopping at a doll show and you see a skipper and you just think there's something more innocent to that certain skipper, you might be looking at a Test Market skipper, because they have a lot of innocence in their expression. It's a little more young. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but the Test Market skippers, how they did the face paint, it's definitely just a little different from what you would see on the later skippers. So basically Test Market skippers were just early skippers. Maybe they were salesman samples, maybe they were prototypes. Most likely they were just the first few that were done and put out there to the public. But the one interesting thing about Test Market skippers is besides their face being a little different, you can also see their bodies are different. So these two blonde skippers. One is a test market skipper and one is just a regular skipper. They're not on skipper stands, so they kind of float. But you can see they're on the same stand. So first, like right off the bat, you'll see that the regular skipper is taller than the test market skipper, just by like a hair basically. But you'll also see their stance is completely different. It's not just that this one has like her legs were like made wrong. Her stance is actually much wider than the regular release of the skipper. And also you'll see on the test market skippers that it says Japan across her foot as opposed to Japan going like across her like the ball of her foot. It says Japan like that. So you'll see at doll shows, you know, keep an eye out. Sometimes the sellers won't realize they have a test market skipper in there, but they are just really, really innocent looking skippers. And basically it just means they were like some of the earliest skippers to be released. So these are my two blondes. I also have another, you know, I have a bunch of other Barbies up here, or skippers up here. This was a custom I had done to look like the one in the commercial, the prototype skipper that had like a straight glance to her eyes here as opposed to the side glance that she was released with. There's a pose and play. This was a baggie that I picked up at a doll show, so she's like minty fresh. And pose and play is just adorable. If you don't have a pose and play in your collection, I highly recommend them. Make sure to like move their arms and stuff though occasionally so they don't get stuck where they are, because you don't want to have to take like a sharp instrument to your doll's shoulders just so they move again. But this was a baggy one, so adorable. We have her friend Tiff, who's usually hard to find. She can be a little expensive, so I'm just happy to have a Tiff. We also have a living skipper. This one has like the pale blonde hair, I think. She's just really, really pretty. And then two of my other ones, we have the, you know, the redheaded, the traditional skipper, and we have a twist and turn who's just really, really, really pretty. So I wanted to give you guys a quick look at the dolls that are around our house. What you're going to be seeing on a lot of these shelves are actually my mom's collection. They kind of take over the living room, and my dolls are kind of stuffed in my bedroom. So this is going to be a quick look at some of the dolls that live in our house. I'm not going to go over every doll in detail, but it'll give you a good look at some of the ones that live here. We have Victoria's, some of the reproduction Patty Play Pals, some Shirley Temples. We have some Katie Cruz, some of the reproduction Lensies. My mom's a huge Sasha collector, so you'll see a lot of Sashas in these videos as well. This is her newest Sasha-like doll that's made to look like a course doll. I think it's called a poppet, but we'll see her in a little clearer there. And then we have the other, we have the dolls here, and there's some glare, but we'll make do. Some Madame Alexanders and things of that nature. We have some My Child, some more Shirley Temples, and down here we have even more dolls, a variety of different kinds. My mom is also a very diverse collector when it comes to the dolls that are in her collection. We also have the like Little Miss No Name Giggles corner here. You will see my mom's vast collection of Little Miss No Names, Reroots, Giggles, some other dolls up there. So there's so many. She really likes Little Miss No Name. And then really likes Giggles. And these are some Reroots that I think I have done most of them. But rerooting Giggles is it's really fun until you have to put her back together and or take her apart. But rerooting Little Miss No Name is really fun too. So the 90s skippers are kind of like the heart and soul of my skipper collection. They were the same like age as I was when I was collecting them. So like I love everything about them. I love the variety of the hairstyles. I love the cool outfits. I love the bright colors. They knew how to market to me. Like these skippers will forever be my favorite skippers. I have a variety here just to show you kind of, you know, what their vibe was. These two are cool top skippers. There's also a cool top skipper over here. You notice that some of them did come in white and African American. There's not as many AA ones, so these are harder to find. If you can find one at a good price, I would say pick it up. If you're at all tempted, just pick it up. I don't remember what her name is. I'm blanking on it right now, but I brought her out just because she's really pretty. It's a very simple sort of hair, but the way they did the face and the outfit, I just think it's really fun. This is a Teen Time Courtney doll. There's also a Courtney over here, but this was like the first release of Courtney. I adore Courtney. I think her hair is super awesome. I love the brown eyes. They did a really good job on Courtney. She's one of my favorite friends. She probably is my favorite friend. And she just fits in really well with Skipper. They just make really good best friends. There's also a Kevin here. Kevin was Skipper's boyfriend. There's a couple different Kevins that they released as well. He went from being like blonde to brunette to blonde to like kind of somewhere between blonde and brunette. So there's a variety of Kevins out there. Definitely check them out. They have like the most stiff bodies you will ever see. Like he can't really do very much in the articulation department, but still, you know, he's a fun doll to have. If you're a male doll collector and you don't have a Kevin, maybe, you know, go on eBay and check to see what the prices are, because he's a cute doll. Like, and he fits really well with Skipper. Like, they look good together. He fits really well with Courtney as well. So, like, he could be the boyfriend to all of your young preteen dolls. We have some Chrissy's and Friends, some Wizard of Oz things. In here we'll have some Barbie cases. There's some glare on that, so it's not easy to see. But if we go closer into here, you'll see the variety that is in this collection, which is my mom's collection. And I think it fits for this program just because she's the reason I collect. I think a lot of people who collect have issues with people not understanding why they want toys as an adult. And I've never had to deal with that, thankfully. My mom really likes big, tall walking dolls, so we have a bunch of those as well that basically she's picked up at doll shows. So an unintentional mini collection that I have in my collection is brides. So somehow or another I've ended up with these three like exquisite looking hard plastic composition bride dolls. So it's kind of become like a mini collection in my collection. The first one I picked up, I believe, was this one. So this is like a Lucy bride. It has a Margaret face. It's Madame Alexander. Her outfit is tagged and everything. Her outfit's original, and she just has just a really, really pretty face. I love it. Her face is just super, super pretty. And she's not on a Lazy Susan or anything, but like you just see like, oops, her veil was probably replaced because that's much whiter than her dress. But just how they did her hair, like how the wig is, just really, really pretty. These two brides, however, are even prettier than that. So there is this Madame Alexander bride that's, from what I can tell, like maybe like late 40s, really early 50s. I've always considered her a transitional doll when they were transitioning from like composition to hard plastic, because she has the mohair wig, which is usually on the older like composition Madame Alexanders, but she has like the hard plastic body. So I've always considered her a transitional doll. When I've tried to find her dress, I've never been able to find it. Like, I've never found a dress that's looked like this. It's tagged Madame Alexander, so it's an official Madame Alexander dress. The veil obviously has been replaced because it's very white, but like this looks original because it's basically paled the same color as the dress. I've just never actually found her in a book or anything. So she's one of the prettiest brides because she has just this really pretty mohair styling here. I love the mohair wigs on the Madame Alexanders. They're my favorites. And just the curls are done really, really well. And the dress itself, like, there's not much going on to it, but it's a simple dress, but I still like it. And just her Margaret face is just so pretty. And you can tell these are like the same face molds, but there's so much character, different character to each of these dolls. So I'm quite happy to have them both in my collection. This bride, however, the Airline bride, who stands about 20 inches tall, is my favorite of the three. She's just so gorgeous. She's one of those that I saw at a show and I was like, yeah, I need to take her home. Like, we were on our first walk around, we'd only seen a couple of booths, and usually my mom and I'll walk around and we'll like do the show first and then we'll spend money. But this was one of those where like I saw it and I was like, ah, darn, where's my money? So like I bought her immediately. She's just so pretty. She's an R&B. She's a very simple dress, but like her face, her tan skin, her brown eyes, her mohair wig is just so gorgeous. So let's turn her around here. I feel like an auction house. If you notice the fine details on the back of her dress. She does actually have a really pretty train though. Like this is one of those dresses where like if I was getting married I would be like that's a style dress I would at least try. But she has a really pretty you know, detail on the back there. Her hair is simple but you know it's still in good shape. But I think her face is what really catches the eye because her composition skin, she was sold as composition. So like her composition skin to me is like a really nice tan look to it, and I just love the brown eyes. She's just so very pretty. We have more dolls here, some that live in the land speeder. So we have baby Chrissy's, Little Miss No Names, a whole variety of like kissy dolls, and there's like a reproduction Peter back there just hanging out. Then there's the little redheaded girl who's new to the collection. And we have everyone here hanging out on the My Twin bunk bed set. So we have a variety of different, there's some bisques in there, some My Twins, we have some more little babies, and holy moly, there's a lot on the piano as well. We have Monster High, Ever After High, we have Skippers and Tooties and Todds and all of those sorts of things. There's Marie Osmond up there, but this is quite a display. There's also some BJDs, there's another Shirley hanging out, so there's lots of stuff going on here. So my presentation here today is called From Bisque to Monster High, a collection tour. So I thought at least I needed to show you a Bisque doll, right? This is actually my only Bisque doll in my collection. My mom actually has quite a few Bisque dolls that she's collected over the years, but you know, not a lot have called to me. They're usually very expensive, you know, and some of them are just, they're not my aesthetic. I just don't love them enough to add them to my collection. However, this one, she called to me. Like, I'd seen her at doll shows, like show after show after show. The seller kept bringing her, and every time I would like take a picture of her and be like, oh, she's so pretty. And then it just got to the point where I was at a show, nothing had called to me, but this little girl was sitting here, you know, sitting there with her wig kind of in shambles, and she was a little bit dirty, but she was just so pretty. So I was like, well, this is a sign. No one's bought her for like the past 3 doll shows. Clearly she's meant to be mine. So I took her home with me that day. So this is a Nippon era Hilda lookalike. So Hilda was like a Kästner, a German Kästner doll, and the head mold was called Hilda. And so when World War I started happening, we couldn't get dolls from Germany anymore, so Japan took over. So this doll was made somewhere between like 1915 and 1921 in Japan, when they started using the molds from like the German dolls and started making them in Japan. So I love it. She's my oldest doll. I don't have anything older than her. And it's crazy to think of all the things that this doll has seen. So like if you think about all the things that have happened since like 1915, it's crazy to think that she's survived, and she's in wonderful shape. Her face is just really pretty. Her mohair wig, it actually cleaned up really, really well. So it looks really, really good. Her hands are in great shape. It looks like maybe someone tried to do a little painting or repair. It's totally fine though, because it's really like her face and her expression that I fell in love with. And she's definitely one of those standout dolls that when people will look at my collection, when it's out on display so people can actually see it, you know, I think that this is one that people will like stop and ask about. You'll see some Corinne dolls that I gifted her with. She's a My Scene collector, so you'll see big styling head. She has more Barbies than me, and some other fun dolls down here. And then also down here, we have a lot of Thumbelinas. That's also one of her focuses. Because I think a collection should have a focus. Even if it doesn't look like there's a focus, there should always be, like, it should start with a focus and then you can kind of branch out from there. But it makes the whole, like, starting a doll collection thing so much easier if you're like, well, what do I want to focus on? Francie's are another one of her favorites. And we have some of the, like, more freaky, fun, sci-fi dolls. And then some other guys down here. So these dolls might be new to you. These are Corinne dolls. They are from China. They're basically the Barbie of China. These are the dolls that will be on store shelves if you go to a department store or toy store in China. They are, you know, right there, right up there with competition for Barbie. And they're amazing. Like, I love this doll line. It's one of my favorites. If I had a choice between buying like a pink box Barbie or a Corinne doll, I would probably buy the Corinne doll because I just think they're so unique. Aesthetically, they're fun, they have vibrant looks, they have fun fashions, they're quality dolls that apparently are made in like the same production warehouses that make Barbie. They're vinyl, some are articulated, some are not articulated, but they're completely worth it. If you at all find these pretty, look them up online. You won't regret buying them. So there's a couple different examples here. This one is my favorite, this little peach bride. I just think she's so pretty. I love her dress, I love her face. Everything about her is perfection. This is also one of my favorites. I just love her outfit and how they did her hair. Her hair is just so pretty. And she has a really young, like youthful look to her face. What I like about Corinne dolls is that there's usually not a lot of makeup on there. Sometimes you'll look at a Barbie and it's like there's makeup everywhere. Like they overdo the lip color, they overdo the cheeks, they overdo the eyes. And you'll see with a lot of these there's very minimal lip color or like makeup in general. This one has, you know, nice pink lips and some eyeshadow, but it's not over the top. This one's just so pretty. I'm so glad I snatched her from the person who was eyeing her at the doll show when I saw her. Just like, nope, that's mine. She didn't have her hands on it, so it was totally mine. This one's pretty cool. It was a limited edition. They released a doll every year. These are some of the ones that, like the special one for the year. We also have this one, who is Christmassy themed. She does have a lot of makeup on her face, but I thought her outfit was just super cool. And then this one right here is super basic, but she came with a lot of accessories, and she was the first one I ever bought. So she will always kind of be right up there in the forerunners of my favorites. The other thing about this line is they do release a lot of gift sets, so that you'll get furniture, you'll get outfits. They do Disney collaborations, which I don't own any of the Disney collaborations, but if you look up Corinne and Disney on like AliExpress or some website like that, you will see a lot of super cute Disney dolls that they officially make and sell through like the Disney parks, I guess, in China. So this is a line that you'll definitely want to look at because there's so many different dolls. And even on this table, there's a bunch of different ways that they've painted the faces. They have a bunch of different eye colors. There's, you know, low-key hairstyles like this. There's more intense hairstyles like, you know, this little like water spirit or one of those that this line was themed around. So this is a really fantastic line if you're into fashion dolls and you kind of had enough of Barbie. This is definitely one to look into. More My Childs. Wizard of Oz, because as I said, my mom likes that as well. So there's a bunch of Wizard of Oz. We have My Scene. My Scene, My Scene. My Scene was a great line that was far too short, but we have a ton of My Scene in the house. And then down here we have like the Kellys and the My Scene, like the big kind of like chunky Kellys that fit the whole My Scene aesthetic. You'll see these in the background of some of our videos that we shoot here for YouTube. So we have some BJDs, some ETs. This is kind of where all like the really big stuff come to live, as well as on the shelves up there. So if you see, this is literally like an entire living room of dolls. So one of the newer sub-collections in my doll collection are Airline Dolls. This is another like collection that I stumbled into. Like I didn't intentionally go out and be like, I'm gonna go and buy lots of, you know, official pretty looking Airline Dolls. No. It just happened that I got one and then I got another, and then once you have like 3 of something, it's already a collection, right? So this is one that I'm trying to, you know, add to slowly as, you know, as things pop up. So this is a super, super cute doll. This was exclusive to Japan. It's the JAL Airlines Barbie. It was sold on domestic flights in Japan if you were flying. And it has so many cute accessories. What I like about the Japanese exclusive Barbies is that a lot of times you'll see them with brown eyes, and this is one of those cases where Barbie, instead of having her blue eyes that you traditionally see here, she has these really pretty brown eyes. She also has, like the Corinne doll, she's not wearing a ton of makeup. She has nice natural makeup. Her hair is really pretty. It's like a sandy blonde. Her uniform is what the uniform would be of a JAL Airlines stewardess, our flight attendant. So it's just super, super cute. And it came with all these accessories. There's so many accessories. You have her apron, you have the cart that she would use to go and like grab snacks and stuff. You have her vest, a purse for when she's going home, all these little serving things, some cardboard accessories like chocolate and stuff, and then some other, like there's like a passporty thing in here. But this is just a super cute Barbie. It was made by Mattel for JAL Airlines. And then we have Singapore Girl. That was made for Singapore Airlines. Again, it's another official Mattel release. Super, super cute. And you can actually find it relatively easily on eBay, I think. But this is from Singapore Airlines. And then this one is the one that started it all, to be quite honest. She is Hainan Airlines. She's a Corinne doll. So you've seen the fun, youthful Corinnes that I was talking about earlier. She's also from that same company, and she is done up in the style of a Hainan airline stewardess. So super cute. Like, I love their uniform. I looked up their uniform online, and this is a really good representation of it. I just love like the details on the uniform. She also came with some extra accessories, which is this jacket that is right here. I just thought the jacket was so pretty. She also came with her luggage. But all 3 of these dolls are just really fun representations of, you know, stewardesses for different airlines, which is what I really like. Like a generic stewardess outfit or flight attendant outfit, I don't really care about. But these are like saving a moment in time, because when they change their outfits, you know, who knows if JAL Airlines still has its outfit. I'm not quite sure, but at one point they did, and I think that's where it's really cool. These are some of my dolls. You'll see a mixture of Corinne, some pull-ups, lots of Cupies, some of my favorite Barbies, a whole lot of stuff. We have some of the BTS boys and some Funko Pops, so it's quite a variety. I have some of my collection in here as well. So there's the Doctor and Captain Jack. We have some pull-ups, some skippers. I'd like to organize that shelf a little better eventually. So Little Miss No Name is kind of polarizing. Some people love her and think she's adorable, and some people do not think she's as adorable. Some people go so far as saying that she's just super scary looking. In this household, Little Miss No Name it's just adorable. Like, There's nothing scary about Little Miss No Name. I don't understand why people would be scared of her. Little Miss No Name was released for a very, very short period of time, like 1965, 1966. She was made by Hasbro, and basically she was a doll that just wanted to be loved. Like, that was her whole thing, was she was in a box and there was rain on the clear plastic, and it was just like, love me, hold me, take me home, make me yours. Like, it was like she just wanted someone to be her mommy, basically, or her daddy. That was the whole thing, which is so endearing to me. But back in like 1965 and 1966, apparently people did not find this endearing. They found it sketchy and scary. So she did not sell very well for Hasbro, unfortunately, which is why when you look her up, her prices are like all over the place. To find one in box, it's very expensive. So the thing with Little Miss No Name, in the box, she was dressed like this with this like burlap sack. There's a safety pin keeping it closed, and she had a tear in her eye, which you'll see in this example right here. So there was a tear that actually came that you could remove when she was happy, or you could put the tear in, whatever you wanted. So in box, she would look like this, but she'd have a tear, which is why when you look at some Little Miss No Names and you don't have the tear, you'll just see like a hole. That's where the tear would go. The tear is so small though, like if you can see right there, it's not the biggest thing. It's also not minuscule, but like it's not the biggest thing in the world. So a lot of times the tears got lost, or maybe the child was like, you don't have to cry anymore, we don't need this tear. I don't know. So it's hard to find one with a tear in good shape for a decent price. One thing that we like to do here is we like to reroute Little Miss No Names, which is who you'll see right here. Because Little Miss No Name traditionally just looked like this. She had this blonde hair that was like really like raggedly cut. That was done on purpose at the studio. So that was like Hasbro's decision to like unevenly cut this poor girl's hair. Which is why you won't really see, like, no Little Miss No Name is the same as another Little Miss No Name. They're all really different. Some have really long hair, some have short hair. It's just, like, whatever the person making it was decided to do for the day. So no Little Miss No Name is similar or, like, exactly identical to another Little Miss No Name. So we like rerouting them. This one has a nice, like, really like white blonde sort of hair, like I think it's called white chocolate. I have one with ginger hair. We've done brunette Little Miss No Names. They're so much fun to reroute. So Little Miss No Name is one of our favorites. She's just so unique looking, you know, and she's such a fun doll that's just so misunderstood. So it's one of those where if you can see it at a good price, like I 100% think you should definitely take a look at it. Because she's just so darn cute, and all she wants is a home. So that's why she's one of like the most endearing dolls in like definitely my mom's collection, because she has a fair few of them. But I have one of them, and she's one of my favorites in my collection as well. Up here we have some of the brands that I discovered by going to toy fairs. There's A Girl for All Time, which is a really great line based on like UK history. It's basically like American Girl, but for the like English history. And then there's my ballerina dolls, which are the two in the front in the ballet costumes. They're just super, super cute and posable. My dolls are basically confined here to the bedroom. One day I'll have more space to move them outside and do kind of what my mom has in the living room. So there's a bunch of Jean dolls here. You'll see my Madame Alexanders, you'll see some Skippers. There's a huge variety of things. There's some Trolls, and if we go down here, you'll see another bookshelf that basically has some of my older dolls. So we have Shirley Temple look-like, some of the original Cabbage Patch Kids from before they were called Cabbage Patch Kids, some BJDs. We have my Quint collection, so some really, really super cute dolls. And they kind of take up my entire room. It sounds crazy, but Monster High made their debut on store shelves July of 2010, which was literally 10 years ago as of this upcoming July. I feel like it was just yesterday when like my mom and I and like the rest of the world were going to Toys R Us and doing like Monster High hunts because there was so much like excitement about the Monster High line that people would go and they would like go to the stores and try to hunt down Ghoulia or Draculaura or Frankie or like Cleo or whatever doll they were looking for to complete their collection. Especially with like the first 2 years of Monster High, there was so much excitement about every line, and like I feel like we missed that. Right now there are no dolls that there's an excitement or a buzz about. So this was the last line where I feel like there was an excitement, there was a buzz, there were people who had never collected dolls before discovering these guys and then becoming like addicted and, you know, becoming doll collectors because of Monster High. This was like the last big resurgence, I think, of doll collecting. So I really think Monster High deserves a spot here in this video for that reason alone. Also, because they're just super cool looking dolls. They're freaky, they're fabulous. Up until the reboot, they were really, really cool looking dolls. It started with you know, this core group of friends. We have Laguna, Claudine, Ghoulia, Frankie, Cleo, and Draculaura, who is not in this video because she's not my favorite one. And she was also like all the way in the back of the case and I didn't want to pull her out. So there were these like 6 core characters, and then the line just kind of grew and grew and grew. Holt is one of my favorites. Holt is just fantastic. He's a hard to find one because they only made like 2 Holts in the span of like the 7 years they made Monster High. So Holt is one of my favorites. He's just so cool with his hair and all of his piercings. He's just super, super neat. And I always wish they had made more of him because he was just very cool. My favorite, the first one I bought was actually Laguna, but my favorite is probably Ghoulia. Ghoulia just has a fun vibe to her, and in the cartoons that they would put up on YouTube, she was just hilarious, even though she never really said like a word that was understandable. To us as humans, she would speak like zombie-ish or whatever, and it was just, she was the best character. I also have the Comic-Con exclusive here. This is a Comic-Con exclusive Frankie that I got at a really good price before Monster High was as popular as it was. This was the original Frankie. I've also put some Ever After High characters here with the crew because Ever After High was basically a spin-off of Monster High, and I really liked it. For the first 2 years or so, Ever After High was a really good line, and that's when Monster High was starting to like lose some of its steam, for me at least. So this is Raven Queen. This is one of the later ones, but I just think she's really pretty. And this is Hunter, who is just so good looking. And his outfit is amazing, and his hair is amazing, and his face is amazing. And like in general, he's just a super cool looking doll. And then we have the Prince Charming, his brother maybe, I'm forgetting his name. I probably should have researched these before bringing him out here for the video. But we also have this guy, Dexter maybe? And he's just really cool. I love the guys in the Ever After High line. They're just, like, they're very sturdy dolls, and they all just look really, really nice. As the line aged, they started doing things like molded hair. Not my favorite, but like early into Ever After High, they were producing some really nice dolls. We have Disney Animator dolls, which is a super cute collection of dolls. Some Sashas. I have quite a few Sashas myself now. I'm not collecting like the whole world of Sasha, but what I have I quite like. Gem and the holograms. I had one Gem doll up until I was like in my 20s, and it was my Gem doll. But finding that Rockin' Roadster was an amazing feeling. That's still one of my favorite purchases ever. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this look at my collection. I really loved sharing it with you guys. I think half the fun of collecting dolls is actually sharing it with people. So, you know, I hope that this inspires you to share your collection with others, whether it's online through Facebook groups or Instagram, or starting your own blog, or, you know, doing your own YouTube channel, and just sharing the love of doll collecting. That is the only way the hobby will stay alive. This is a very specific hobby. It's a misunderstood hobby, but it's one that just gives so much to the collectors. So like, and it gives, you know, so much. It keeps us young. So I really want the hobby to stay alive. I want new people to come into it. And the only way that will happen is if we continue to share our collection, to share our passion, and to just share our love for dolls with, you know, with the world or with our friends or whoever. So I hope this inspires you a little bit, and I hope you've learned something or you found it at the very least somewhat interesting to listen to. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram at QP83, YouTube at QP83. You can also find me on Facebook. All the links will be somewhere in this video as titles. Maybe in the description, I'm not 100% sure, but all the links will be somewhere where you can find it, so you can find me online. I really hope that I was able to inspire you just a little bit today, and I hope you enjoyed this, you know, panel for the virtual doll convention. I feel blessed to be part of it because I love spreading the good word that, you know, doll collecting is an amazing hobby, and there's so much you can get from it. So I really hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual doll convention. Huge shout out to Rachel for putting this together and for asking me to be involved. I love it. I hope that we can do this all again sometime. So it was really great talking to you, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye!